Hey there, Heather. Hello, there's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome me to yet another Stone Cold Hockey video of the 74-75 NHL season. We have had some great moments and all that, but right now our Philadelphia Flyers are 1 point back of those pesky Islanders in the Patrick division, with the Rangers and Atlanta chasing for that third and final playoff spot. Chicago, Vancouver, St. Louis looking like they're the class of the Smythe. Minnesota and Kansas City about to sit back. And the Adams, it looks like it's going to be Buffalo, Boston, and Toronto. And in the North, Montreal, LA, Pittsburgh look like they're the class of the North. Montreal with the most points. They've only lost 4 games in regulation, which is amazing. But we still have the goal scoring leader, Reggie Leach, with 34. There are 18 guys with 20 or more goals. Rick Martin's the only other guy with 30 goals. Points wise, Marcel Dionne's put up 75 points. Rick Martin 60. Phil Esposito's got 59 now, and Bobby Clark 58. Penalty leaders, Dave Schultz has 268 penalty minutes and 10 points. Bob Gassoff 160 for second. Bruce Dumont's got 132 for third. And any other guys on the front page? Zaleski's got 76. I mean, goals against. Ken Dryden, Gary Edwards, and Dan Bouchard are the only guys behind the 2.00 goals against. It's weird how Jim Rutherford has a 3.64 goals against, 20 of, and he's got 3 shutouts. Brady Perrant, my guy, 2.18 behind Billy Smith as well. Wayne Stevenson has not played much. Standings wise, we've played 43 games. A lot of people have played 41, 42, and 43. California's played 46. So yeah, Minnesota and Detroit have played the fewest. Points percentage wise, I think we are ahead of the Islanders in a sense, and that's up. We have scored 164 goals. That is the most, except for Buffalo, Montreal, and Pittsburgh. So we're fourth in goal scoring, but tops in our conference, if you will. Goes against 105, only the Cupcakes. Montreal and LA. How is LA like 50? Yeah, LA's given up fewer goals than Montreal, but yet they've only won 25 games. Home wise, we're 16-4-2. At road, we're 11-7-3 +4. Win road differential. Only the Habs and the Kings are better, have a +4 win road percentage. Yeah, Kansas City 2-18. Kansas City's only won 5 games. Washington's won their 8. Highlights wise, lots of hat tricks, 33 of them. Martin, Stamkowski, failed the last 3. Most memorable games, Boston, when they had a 5-2 lead on Washington, in Washington, and fucked it up as Nicholson, Atkinson, Depere, Bloom, and LaFamboise scored. Montreal, Detroit on January the 8th, when the Red Wings had a 5-3 lead on Bunny the Rock, and Richardson botched it as Gaining Mahovlich, Riseborough, Kitchener, and Cornway scored to make it 7-5. And St. Louis, Toronto, for November 25th, 5-4, when the Leafs looked like they were going to take down their opponents, but didn't. So those were the 3 highest scoring games. Our game on January 16th is against Washington, and it will be Bernie Perrant. I thought they were going to win with Bobby Taylor, but Bernie Perrant's ready. He'll face John Adams, not the former U.S. president, but the backup goalie to Ron Lowe, with Michel Belhumer, the third string goalie. We have Reggie Leach, the Riverton Rifle, Rick McLeish, a great player, Bill Barber, Kitchener, Bobby Clark, our captain, Russ Lonsberry, Bill Clement, who would do color commentating job for NBC. I think he got to the Hockey Hall of Fame a couple years ago for his color commentating. Gary Dornhofer would do color commentating, but for CBC. Moose DuPont scored on NBC. Well, yeah, Clement did his stuff for ABC. Dornhofer, CBC, and Moose DuPont scored a winning goal on NBC because that was Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals, Bruins and Flyers, which was on NBC. Bob Hound Kelly, or as Kinderchuk would have named Don Big Bird Selesky, Tom Bladen, who once had 8 points in a game as a defenseman against the Golden Seals, Dave the Hammer Schultz, Terry Crisp, the 1989 Stanley Cup winning head coach for the Flames, Jimmy and Joe Watson, Larry Goodenough, Ed Van Imp, known for his powerful hits, ask following harm off of the Russian team in Super Series 76, Ted Harris, Bob Sawar, Serge Lachouinez, Jack McElhaney. Washington has Tommy Williams, who was a rarity in the 60s and 70s, an American playing in the NHL, not like it is nowadays 5 decades later. Didi Tupere, Mike Marson, first round pick, a rarity, a black player in the first round. Ron Lalonde, Steve Atkinson, Dave Crisco, Nate Umstead, Crisco, Ron Anderson, Bill Lesick, Mike Bloom, Nelson Pyatt, Pete Laframboise, meaning raspberry in French. Framboise is in French. Bob Grip, Bruce Cowick, Jim Herkiak, Yvonne Lebra, who was such a trooper. Washington retires number 7 in 1981, which was weird. Ace Bailey, not on the team. I think he's coming. Paul Nicholson, Gord Smith, Bill Mickelson, who had a minus 82 plus minus. That year, Jack Eagers, Kitchener. Look it up, people. Doug Bones, the veteran, Gord Brooks, and Greg Jolie. I remember we lost to Washington, did we not? Early on, aggression. They got aggression. Elias Morrison. Baby on board, how I adore Kitchener. You know, Barbershop Quartet, Bill Barber from Kitchener Ranger, 18th goal from Dornhofer and McLeish. Washington, if they go true to their real record, would have to go 0-31-1. So they have to lose their next 32 games. Philly has to be 24-7-6. Or later on. Yes, sir, it's yours. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Bobby Clark kicks off from Leach and Watson. Jimmy Watson. 2-0. Much later. Action, nothing. A few minutes later, they have a chance? No. Then, Dornhofer? Damn it. I thought Dornhofer was going to score. 3 minutes later, and Washington takes a chance to stop at Bernie. Washington will take a penalty left back. We're up 2-0 on Washington after 20 minutes. Power play? Damn. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine. His 14th from Jimmy Watson and Bobby Clark. So Jimmy's got 2 assists. Much later. Are they? I think they are. Power goal. Oh, Jimmy Mack. Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy Mack. When are you coming back? Jimmy Watson has 6 from Fenimp and Leach. So I think that's 3 points for Jimmy. 3 more minutes. Look at 5. Who's back? Baby on board, how I adore Kitchener. Barber second of the night, 19th. He's getting close to 20. DuPont and Crisp with the assist. And Belhumers now have to come in net. We're killing the clock. And that's 5-0. So I think Washington will score at least once. Killing the clock. No! DuPont doing the Moose Shuffle. Just like he did in 1974 when he scored the winning goal, when he scored the goal, the Stanley Cup winning goal. Well, actually, it was McLeish who got it in, but I said Moose DuPont scored the goal. Whoopsies. Anyway, Clark and Crisp with the assist. Killing the clock. It's yours. Was that good enough for you? I think so. His second from Clark and DuPont. Killing the clock. A fight. Bloom and Zaleski. Bloom trying to go after Big Bird, but it's not working, buddy. And Braden for good measure scores Clark with assist. 8-0. Snowman. We put the snowman on Washington. Do you want to build a snowman? I think we just did on Washington. Bobby Clark, his 3rd assist of the period. Woof. Okay, so 8-0. Perrance didn't have to break a sweat. And we scored on all 3 power plays. We didn't get a penalty the whole game. Well, fighting major, but it doesn't matter. So Barber scored twice. Clark got 4 assists. So that's a 5.9 night for Clark. A goal and 4 assists. Not bad. Barber only got 2 goals. Bill Clement, I think, only got 1 point. Jimmy Watson got a goal and 2 assists. Moose DuPont had a goal and an assist. Goodenough only a goal. Bladen a point. Reggie Leach scored 2 assists, and he didn't score. Terry Crisp got 2 assists. So, yeah, that's weird how our top goal scorer wasn't part of the Snowman murder. LA, Atlanta. LA shuts out Atlanta. They're really good. Cali beats the Rangers. Really? Wow. And Buffalo beats Vancouver. On the Saturday, Chicago goes to Kansas City and beats the shit out of Kansas City. Montreal beats Toronto in the great rivalry. Islanders shut out Detroit. That's what we need. Great. Boston, Pittsburgh tie. St. Louis crushes Minnesota. And the Rangers get revenge on Vancouver. Anyway, we host the Flames. And good news, Bernie Perron's in the net. Phil Myers, who backs up Dan Bouchard, he's going to start this game. Atlanta with the great 1-2 punch of Bouchard and Meyer in the net. I think that was what, 1980 when it was broken up? Because I think they stayed around. I think Bouchard was still in Atlanta, and then he got traded to Quebec before they became the Calgary Flames. Anyway, Eric Fail, Kurt Bennett, Tom Lysiak, great player. Brian Hextall Jr., because senior scored in 1940. There's a cup winning goal. Buster Harvey, Jacques Richard, who was basically a, a flash in the pan. Ray Como, Tim Ecclestone, former Blue, Keith McCreary, Hillary Graves, Bobby Leiter, Larry Romanchich, Randy Mannery, Noel Price, No Jerry Meehan, John Lemieux, Barry Gibbs, former Canuck, Bob Murray, who was a head coach, I think, Pat Quinn, legendary head coach, you know who he is, Ed Kia, Dean Telefus, Jerry Byers. So here we go. What can we do? A few minutes into the game, no chance. Battle, Forcer, there's a fight. Schultz, Dean Telefus trying to go for it, and he got his butt handed to him. Trying to fight with the big boy. Yep, for Kinderchuk. Fuck. Battle, Gresham. Stonehopper. They can, yeah, they can. Ecclestone, my former Blue for the 68 squad, his sixth goal from Mannery, 1-0. Oh boy, we have got to beat Atlanta. We must. Trying to kill the clock. Let me see. Do 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 do. It's not Angela Lansbury, it's Russ Lansbury, his 16 from McLeish and Leach. Then a battle. Of course we're going to be Gresham. It's us. Schultz. Damn you, Schultz. And they score. Kurt Bennett is 19 from Jean Lemieux and Ecclestone. Ecclestone's trying to fuck us over. Much later. Aggression? Not you idiot. But fortunately this time we escape. Aggression? Yeah. Well, we ruined him. McLeish will be on the box for 2. So we're in trouble. Chance Skeeter. Keith McCreary from Mannery and Leiter. Mannery second point. We're down 3-1 to the Flames. Yikes. Chance for Kinderchuk. No. They're going to take chances till the cows come home. They're killing us. We get another penalty. Crisp. Great. Lysiak. Nope. At least we stopped them there. Empty net. Split. Nothing. Empty net. Brian Hextall scores from Buster Harvey. And the Atlanta Flames are going to knock down the Philadelphia Flyers. We lose to the fucking Flames. We crushed Washington, but we can't put up against the Atlanta Flames. Man, nice job by Meyer. Good grief. They only had one penalty, and it was a fight. Well, we screwed up. All right, so we play on the Sunday. No, we don't. Toronto goes to Boston on Sunday night and loses to Boston. Buffalo shuts out Kansas City. Cali and Chicago tie. Detroit beats Minnesota. Montreal beats LA. Well, of course, it's Montreal. What do you expect? Washington, what? They beat Pittsburgh 3-2. Lowe beats Plaz. Kehoe and Kelly for Pittsburgh. Washington goes by Marson, Mickelson, and Cowick. Now, they got 9 wins. They beat their regular life stats. Monday off, Tuesday, no play. I guess it was the All-Star game. Cali, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh crushes Cali in the fine powder. Washington has more wins than the Seals. So we would play St. Louis, but because we lost the previous game, we have to simulate. Boston beats Kansas City. Buffalo beats Detroit. Chicago beats the Islanders, does us a favor. LA crushes Toronto in the fine powder. Montreal beats Minnesota. Rangers beat Atlanta. We beat the Blues. Paramount beats Boulanger. Pierre Plon, his 19th, but McLeish, Lonsbury, Leach, and McLeish scoring the goals, and Washington gets their asses handed by Vancouver. Vancouver goes into Atlanta and beats them. Toronto goes to California and beats the Seals. Saturday night, we are off, I guess. Washington at Detroit. Washington almost won. Kansas City holds to Minnesota to a tie. Montreal Gagné. Others won. Damn. LA could have done something. Pittsburgh beats the Rangers. And St. Louis beats Chicago. Yeah, the Lions in our division. That's right. Now we go to Boston. We'll simulate that. Buffalo beats Atlanta. Cal and Chicago tie. Montreal Gagné over Pittsburgh. LA goes to the Rangers and beats them. Toronto and Vancouver tie. And Washington hosts Detroit to a tie. So we go to Boston, our third game, and it will be a surprise. Bobby Taylor against Gilles Gilbert. So we're putting Bobby Taylor in the firing line. Gilles Gilbert, who was the #1 goalie for Boston, once Cheapers left for the WHA, but remember, Cheapers came back the next season. Ross Brooks and Ken Broderick are the backups for Boston. They have Phil Esposito, at least for now, until November 75 when they trade him to the Rangers for Brad Park. Bobby Orr, #4. I think this was his last true good year before injuries really ruined him. Don Marcotte, Greg Shepard. No further checking abilities. Johnny Busick, the Chief, was still around. I think this was his final season. Ken Hodge Sr., Jr. was a flop. Bobby Schmaltz, Andre Savard, Carol Fanning, former Hab. Dave Forbes, who was known for his fighting. Terry O'Reilly, Taz Zigum, Wayne Cashman, who was known for Crashman. Al Sims, Dave Hines, Dallas Smith still around since the 70s. Well, McKegney, future Leaf and Rocky. Rod Graham, Daryl Ekstrom, Steve Langdon, and Gary Doak. What do we do in this game? Boston has a chance, and thankfully we've dodged it. Enforcer, right? Hammer against O'Reilly. Of course, it's the two enforcers. What do you expect? A hit. 5 minutes later, ouch. 5 more minutes. #4 body war from Hodge and Espo. Well, might have been if Bobby Orr stayed healthy. Well, we have Bobby Taylor, so 5 minutes. Another fight. It's Moose Dupont and Ken Hodge. Why would he want to fight? Why would Hodge want to fight Moose? And Clement scored. Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine. His 15th Clementine scores from Dornhofer and McLeish. A few minutes later, Boston takes a chance. No. 4 minutes later. Oops, he's rattled. He's rattled. 20 minutes to go. It's 1-1. Battle. Of course it would. I knew it. And Bobby Orr sinks us again for the second time. Shelved. It's like, you're fucked. Agitated. We have a chance. Damn it, Bladen. Why couldn't you score? Thank you from Cashman and War. It's kind of a revenge game because of the 74 final. We're down 3-1. I got 4. Bad. From Edo Strength. No, I can't chill because he does not look like a... Boston takes a penalty. Speaking of Edo Strength, McLeish and Schultz can't do anything. And we couldn't do anything about it. Bobby Orr screws us over. We lose the rematch to Boston, and that means we have to simulate the next game. Boston goes to Kansas City and ties them. Gilbert against McDuff. How the hell does Boston beat the tar out of us and can't beat a 5-win Kansas City Scouts team? They tie. Logic. Rangers and LA tie. Islanders beat Minnesota. Fuck. St. Louis beat Detroit. And Montreal Gagné over Vancouver. Atlanta KC. And Atlanta shuts down KC. Islanders tie Minnesota. Okay. Pittsburgh beat Chicago. And Cali. Holy crap. Cal beat Toronto 5-2. Hammerstrom and Lanning scored for Toronto, but Nielsen, Weir, Houston, Stewart, and Joey Johnston scored. California's got to 9 wins. Our game against Toronto has to be simulated. And I would love to face my boyhood team. Boston shuts down California. Buffalo crushes the Rangers. Pittsburgh, Detroit tie. Washington beats LA. Belhuber wins over Fashaw. Goring and Nevin for LA, but Washington, Dupere, Lalonde, and Anderson. As I said, logic. So our game against Toronto has to be simulated, and we beat them 4-2. Stevenson and net against Gordon McRae, Moffat, and Turnbull. Lyle Moffat, what a name. Philly, Terry Chris finally scores a goal. Dornhofer, Clark, and Watson are the goal scorers. So we beat Toronto 4-2. Then January, St. Louis and Atlanta tie. We host Buffalo next game. Rangers beat Chicago. Detroit does us a favor by beating the Islanders. Kansas City ties Minnesota, so they have more ties than wins. Montreal crushes LA. Pittsburgh St. Louis tie. The Leafs shut up Boston? The Leafs are 12 games below 500. And Washington beats Vancouver. So we go for the summary. We're 2 points back in the Islanders, but we do have 2 games in hand. We both have 130. We lost 13, but they have 7 ties. We have 5, so we're 2 games in hand on them. Rangers lead Atlanta by 4 points for the last spot in the Patrick. Chicago, Vancouver, and St. Louis are in a dogfight. Chicago's only up by a point on Vancouver. St. Louis there. Minnesota's not going to make it, I don't think. Kansas City, I don't think will make it. Adams, Buffalo, and Boston are pulling away. Toronto's trying to catch up and do something about it. But they're probably going to end up playing. Oh, no, they won't be playing Boston. Ooh. 1 second. Here. A spider. Keep on. Gotcha. I know spiders are big ecosystems, but this is indoors. Outdoors, spiders can do whatever the fuck they want, but indoors they can't. I used a toilet. I used a paper towel tube. Yeah, so Toronto will take 3rd place. It looks like they're going to beat California. Montreal looks like they've got the Norris with LA and Pittsburgh trailing behind. Detroit and Washington are not going to make the playoffs. We still have the goal scoring leader, Reggie Leach with 35. We have 5 guys hitting 30 goals. Leach, Martin, Lafleur, Espo, and Danny Grant coming back through it. Our goals against Bernie's behind only Dryden and Bouchard. Yeah, we had to face Phil Meyer. 6-14-3 Phil Meyer was, and he beat us. How the hell do I let that go? And I look at like him, 6-14-3. He has a better goals against average than Gary Smith and Gary Innes, and they've won like 15 games. Logic, am I right? Nevertheless, that's all for this video. Anyway, I'm dropped. I'm gonna do. Come on, there we go.